I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every W's a psychedelic. Journey over accolades, divvy up the accolades and tell them boys to have a day. Give and take, and I let her give. Give and take, and I let her. Love to see the bros hitting milestones. Gon' get your shine on, brighter than an iPhone. Screen anybody tryna take a piece of pie home. Try some, shape a stick or drop them like a pine cone. Conversations about the goals and the gold that I'm sitting on. All I hear is low ballin' digits if I listen to them. No need to counter if it's disrespect. Swam with sharks on how to bite my way out fishing nets. Yeah, I see the light at the end of the juice, got me swinging for the fans. Always look the light through a different lens. Sevens every time I put that lever. I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every W's a psychedelic. Journey over accolades, divvy up the accolades and tell them boys to have a day. Give and take, and I let her give. And I let her.
What's up, contractors? John Dye here with American Contractor Show. We are live for our very first weekly episode that we're shooting here from our studio in Indianapolis, and I'm really excited about this premiere episode. We're going to be doing this every week. We'll be live every freaking Tuesday, bringing you guys the best news, the best information that's going to help your company become better and become the best it can be. So thank you guys for joining us today. And this is going to be a great show. Real quick word to our sponsors. Thank you so much to Infinity Home Solutions or Infinity Home Services for allowing this to be possible, making this show a reality. Infinity is all about ridding the world of unscrupulous contractors. By doing that, they are partnering with amazing contractors, helping them grow their businesses and become the best they can be. If you're interested in learning how you can partner with Infinity or to find out more about what your company is actually worth, there's a link in our show description here for you guys to click on. Go to that website, fill out your information, and we can get you an evaluation on your business. Also, a huge thank you to Job Nimbus. Job Nimbus is the top CRM for contractors. If you guys don't know about Job Nimbus, you need to check them out. They are amazing, and they also just released their peak performance report for 2023, which essentially gives you all the data points that you need in order to make your business the best that it can be. So check out Job Nimbus. We put a link to that peak performance report. It's absolutely free to get that report, and it gives you a ton of great information. So make sure to hop in there and grab that. Also, my good friends at Hail Trace, weather was crazy yesterday. Weather's going to be crazy again today. What does that mean? You need to stay on top of it and make sure that you know where the damage is and where to find it. Hail Trace offers the best reports and the best accuracy in the industry. So make sure to check out Hail Trace. They'll give you a great discount if you tell them that John sends you with American Contractor Show. I think that's the truth. So that is the truth. They'll hook you up. So go check them out and check out Exact Build too while you're at it. Exact Build is our awesome partner here, and they are not a supplement company. They're a billing agency. You build, they bill, and they get you guys paid for all the work that you do. So check out Exact Build. Cool. So I want to hop into some news real quick. Welcome to the show. And this is going to be some great news that's happening in the industry. I want to share some stories, some headlines. And one of them, the first one I want to share with you guys, actually popped up yesterday. And it was in my Wall Street Journal. And believe it or not, I actually do read the Wall Street Journal almost on a daily basis. And that's just kind of my own nerdy thing that I like to do. But there was an article that popped up yesterday, and I had to share it. As soon as I saw it, I sent it to my team. I'm like, hey guys, like we got to jump all over this article because this is great news for our industry. But essentially the entire article was about how Gen Z is becoming the tool belt generation. That's right. Gen Z, the next generation, they are coming up and they are embracing contracting in the trades in a way that we haven't seen before. In fact, they're saying that young Americans are increasingly pursuing careers in skilled trades like plumbing and welding, attracted by higher wages. They're attracted by the technological advancements and the disillusionment with the high cost and perceived value of college. Isn't that freaking cool that young people are waking up to the realities of what life really is, understanding that there's great potential within the trades, and they're embracing it and actually taking part of the trades. There is a massive rise in vocational training, 16% increase year over year in people enrolling in vocational trades. That's trade schools, places that teach you how to become a contractor, how to work with your hands, how to do things like become an electrician, a plumber, a welder, all these cool things. And that is so cool to see that our next generation is taking advantage of these opportunities and jumping all over them. So this is awesome news. They're understanding that skilled trades have tremendous economic advantages and that they are a great place for job security in the future. So this is cool news to see that the next generation is coming up. They're enjoying it. They're seeing the cool progress. And granted, you guys, we all know that the trades is where it's at, that there's amazing opportunities, that there's such cool advancements in it, that the technology is really taking over and making this one of the coolest places to be. But not just that, but think about it. The amount of job security that we have as an industry is huge because we can create things out of nothing and provide shelter for people. That is something that everyone is always going to need, no matter what is going on in their world. They're always going to need shelter. And with the increasing rise in the population, everything that's happening, this is the place to be. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm really thrilled to see that there are the next generation coming up. They're enjoying it and they're checking it out. So thank you guys for watching ACS, hopefully, and getting a little bit of a head start into what you guys are looking for. But it's been cool. We've traveled around the country. We've talked to people. We've talked about the trades and the kids that have come out to the events. It's awesome to sit down with them and understand that they're seeing the realities of life and what it can be because of the trades. And so huge shout out to those guys. And it's great news coming out of this next generation. I feel like there's hope for the future here within contracting. So great news. And then last week, obviously, we talked a little bit about it. We went live, but the huge acquisition of SRS by Home Depot. This was a big deal, and I don't want to dive too deep into this, but I will tell you guys real quick. We had a amazing announcement last week, and this is, like I said, the first domino to fall when it comes to the world of acquisitions and mergers and big money coming into the space. Obviously, Home Depot is a behemoth. They've kind of taken over the hardware store world, and now they're working on distribution. And ultimately, by the way, there was an interesting fact that I didn't really understand, but I read it in a different article. And maybe you guys don't realize this, but SRS has 2,500 salespeople on their staff, 2,500 sales reps that basically manage accounts for SRS. I didn't realize it was that large of a sales organization. I've heard numbers before, but never numbers like that. That was a huge deal to me to see that that stat come up. But at the end of the day, regardless of what's going on, the reality is Home Depot now is by the end of the year going to have SRS in their portfolio of businesses, which, there's a lot of implications on that. We're going to talk more about that, I'm sure, next week. I wanted to bring someone on that can give us a little bit of different perspective, a different angle, and you'll hear from them next week on this. But at the end of the day, regardless of how you view it, big money, mature money is in the space. They are coming to construction, and they've been in it for a little bit. One of our main sponsors is IHS, which is a private equity backed group that is buying roofing companies, buying construction companies, and giving them a different area. It's a platform to allow us to grow in a different direction with a different influx of cash. People are investing large amounts of money into this space, and we're going to continue to see that happen as the space continues to grow. It is a safe place to park your money. And that's just the reality of the economics around construction and around the services and around the trades. And so this is going to continue to happen. Deals like this are going to continue to happen. The question is who's going to win, who's going to lose. And I don't really think that there are winners and losers necessarily in every single transaction, but there is a shift. And understanding that the shift is there does create potential for opportunity. And you understanding it as a contractor is really, really important throughout these transitions to understand, like, hey, we've got to see it for what it is, understand it for what it is, and start to shift our business, shift our mindsets, and understand that with every change, there's going to be more changes that come behind it. And as those changes keep progressing, if you want to survive and you want to continue on this journey of being a contractor, running your business, being your own boss within our industry, you are going to probably have to change the way you do business. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. I want to talk today about how technology is changing the industry. And I also want to talk about how solar is changing the industry. So later on in the episode, we're going to bring in some guests. We're going to talk about solar because solar is a frustrating topic that you guys got to get to the bottom of. And finally, there's a solution that could potentially give us something that we actually want as contractors, which is control in the solar side of it. And then on the flip side of that too, you got to understand how to embrace technology from how customers are viewing your business and what they are going to do for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today too in today's episode. And so you want to stay tuned. This is going to be a great episode, and it's going to be a lot of action-packed stuff and some cool guests. So stay tuned today as we continue on this journey of helping you guys become awesome. So let's keep going. Hey guys, meet Connect Team, my favorite all-in-one app that takes your business to the next level. Connect with your team like never before with seamless communication, track hours with ease, assign tasks on the go, and even provide on-the-spot training. You can schedule shifts effortlessly and ensure safety compliance with a tap. Simplify your business operations today. Try Connect Team and discover a world of efficiency. Visit the link in the show description for a special discount. Awesome, guys. Make sure to check out Connect Team. They are a great sponsor of American Contractor Show as well. And make sure to check out IHS. I know we talked a little bit about it earlier, but IHS, Infinity Home Services, based out of Milwaukee, they have an amazing story. I did an interview with Josh Sparks. You guys want to go back and listen to that. Josh will be here later this month to join us as well. But their story is incredible. They're contractors just like you that have figured out that there's big money interested in this place, and they've been able to leverage that to grow their business to levels that are never before seen. They're over several $100 million in revenue now. They're growing to over 15, 16 brands, and they've got more coming in it. I think you want to check them out and learn about how this potential opportunity can help shape your business. A lot of people say that there's a flip side to private equity. There is two sides to that story. There are sides of people that don't take advantage and those that do. And those that do are going to reap massive benefits in the future because of that. So check out IHS. I'd love to help you out with them. Get a free evaluation of your company. We'll put the link in the show description. So, all right, I want to wrap up and talk a little bit about solar today. And we're going to talk about solar. We're going to talk about technology, but solar specifically is one of the most frustrating parts of our industry. And I've studied it a lot over the last few years. I've been involved in acquisitions that had to do with solar companies, and I've been very intimately studied this part of the industry. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is one of the most frustrating things as a contractor to try to partner with these companies that are going to supposedly service your solar clients and give you the solar opportunities. It sucks. It's been terrible. And so finally, I was talking to my friend Jay Haynes a few months ago, and I'm going to have Jay here with us in just a second. But Jay's a great friend of ours. We go way back, college days. So anyways, we were talking about this, and he has a program that he's now helping contractors understand how to bring solar in-house and actually own your own solar process. And so I want to welcome Jay to the show today and have him kind of introduce himself and talk about this, because this is the solution that we've been wanting in the space for solar. So thank you so much for being with us, Jay. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jay's my boy, man. We go way back, and thanks and thanks for being with us today and talking a little about this. But most importantly, thank you for what you guys are putting together. Let's talk about this for a second, though. Why do you think solar is so frustrating? Because you've done solar for a long time too.
Yeah, on the EPC side as a contractor, where I was just trying to hopefully delegate it off because they had these pretty little packages wrapped in bows that was like, oh, that's amazing. I have all the sales guys in all these locations, and I can actually pump this out. I can get paid really good profits. I can get this great financing, and I can just pass it off, and I don't have to worry about it. And then I got just hit, just right on the chin with all the nightmares that came with and all the issues. So I was like, well, I've either got to stop doing solar completely because it's going to ruin my brand and my reputation, or I have to figure out how to do it right. And the only way to do it right is for me as the local contractor to be in control. And that's the whole vision of selling solar. And that's what we did.
Dude, it's so frustrating to think about that you're going to partner with this EPC. They're going to bring you supposedly the opportunity to build these solar, this solar division within your company that they manage the production essentially, right? And you guys just become the salespeople of the solar aspect of the industry, and you guys don't actually do the work yourself, right? And then there's all those red lines, and no one knows what the true cost of the product is, right? It's just like, oh, you got to sell it for this much kilowatt hours, and it's like all this random things that as a conventional contractor makes 0 sense at all.
Well,
I don't know what panels cost? Like, what does labor cost? How much do I tack on? Instead, I'm selling it based on some random arbitrary number that they set up, and we're saying we want this number to be the number we're selling for. Dude, it makes no sense at all.
Correct. And red lines, I after several hundred installs, obviously I understand the concept of the red line, but it honestly adds to the bigger issue of they're selling solar on the backs of the homeowner's ignorance. They're tacking on fees and they're tacking on pricing that there's no possible way a homeowner would ever agree to. And they sell it on a red line model because that red line seems like it makes sense. Okay, this is how much this red line is. I'm saving them $20 a month or $30 a month that they're already paying on their electric bill. But in actuality, you are, excuse my language, but just being very frank, you're screwing a homeowner. You're selling a system that should cost $12,000 to $15,000 at a great profit margin for $70,000 and wrapping it in onto a finance loan that they're stuck with for 30 years at a, who knows how much of a dealer fee on it.
And that's the thing people don't understand, like how much of that is actually just fat within the deal versus how much of it is actual labor, material, that kind of stuff. The dealer fees have got to be outrageous on this too, on the financing side, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the only thing the homeowner understands is, oh, I'm getting a 4% interest loan. That's amazing right now. But they don't understand that they're paying an extra 40 to 50%, sometimes more, for the product to get a 4% interest loan.
Yeah, because someone's buying that loan down, and it's ultimately the homeowner that's paying for it, not the contractor.
100%. And the profit margins for the contractor are actually pretty small with EPCs because the EPC and the finance companies are taking all the profit. All that massive inflation are going to them.
And I love that this conversation is actually happening because this has been something that we've been trying to figure this out, how to unmask the solar, like, you know, the whole charade that's going on behind the scenes, because it's been this way for so long now. And I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it is, but I have heard that there's a lot of these solar EPCs that are pulling back, Titan, a lot of these big ones are just like, they're really, really starting to shrink. And obviously there's a lot of issues within solar itself, but I feel like a lot of it is self-inflicted. And what you said a minute ago is what really infuriates me, is that at the end of the day, the people that ultimately end up getting the shaft in all this is the homeowner. And the homeowners are the ones that we've sold these products to that now are stuck with these terrible products, these inflated numbers that they're paying for the next 10, 15 years, masked under the idea that, well, it's energy that you're going to pay for anyway, so rather just pay for the solar system than pay for the energy itself.
Absolutely. And justifying doing the wrong thing to someone because they're already in a bad situation is just a terrible moral compass to begin with. And I'm a guy that's built my construction, my roofing company, Home Restoration, on a good reputation. We go above and beyond on every install to make a difference. And solar as it exists was absolutely not a reflection of my product and what I wanted my customer experiences to be. So we had to dig into the weeds and we had to figure out how to bring it in-house, how to take control, and how to fix it. You Google solar, it's just web page after web page of scam, pyramid scheme, whatever. And unfortunately, it's because it's true. It's how we're selling the product. It's not the product. The product's great.
Yeah, the product speaks for itself. I mean, I want solar, but I want solar from a general, like, hey, I want to be energy independent. I'll pay for that because that's what I want. But at the end of the day, like most people that are selling solar, they're based on, we're going to replace your energy with solar. So what you're going to pay the electric company, you pay for your solar system. But at the same time, it's not really the reality of it. So let's talk a little bit about your software, though, and what you guys have put together, because finally this exists. And this is actually an investment that you can make in yourself that will actually give you your own solar division. That's a true solar division that you own in-house, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to back up just a second before I get into that and say, I didn't get to say this at the beginning, but thank you so much. I'm so honored to be on the first of these weekly episodes. I've been such a massive fan of American Contractor Show. I remember years ago, I think it was New Orleans. You guys had like the whole setup and Win the Storm, and I was in there with my team taking pictures inside the booth. So it's really exciting. I love what you're doing, and thank you so much for having me on episode 1.
We're honored that you're here, dude. I'll be real. Like it's an honor that you came on here, that you're gonna be a part of this. But mostly, I'm excited because what you guys are doing is what we want to put a spotlight on. How can we make contractors better and give them the tools and put the keys to solar in their hands?
I rolled this out maybe almost 3 months ago now. And we've had such massive traction that it's awesome. I love how many contractors are actually wanting to do it right. We have a full program that teaches you how to sell ethical solar. In fact, you might have saw Brianna's arms, my office assistant. She literally said, you got to look at this. We had a lead come in, and Mr. Martin, I'm at my Springfield location, just called and said, hey, are you guys the ethical solar guys? That's what he asked when he called my roofing office, because they're seeing this media, if I want to change this, going out on our socials.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's literally just happened.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're coming in and we're teaching your sales guys first how to sell ethical solar, completely forgetting, oh, we're saving you $50 a month on electrical and put you in a 4% interest rate, because there's so many issues with that and how they're doing that. It's not a good product. And then on the other hand, we built a second training course that teaches the contractor or the owner or the production manager, whoever you want, or however your company is structured, on how to actually source the crews, source the product, install the product. Even our affiliates, we have like brand ratings and we have crew ratings in each market that we've already vetted. Let's say you're in Indianapolis, I'm in Springfield. There might be a crew that services Indianapolis and Springfield on the commercial side. Typically commercial crews will travel a little bit, but they might have an A grade in the Indianapolis market, and we might have graded them a C or a D in the Springfield market, just depending on how those experiences go when we vet them. And it's that in depth. We try our best to give you every tool you need. It does take work on your end. If it's easy, it's not really real. That's the whole EPC issue. So you're going to have to figure it out on your end, but we give you every tool you need to figure it out. You just have to take those tools and actually use them.
You essentially built the solar business in a box and are giving it to the contractor, saying, here it is. This is your solar division for your company, but it's an actual working solar division. Not some sort of random, you sell it, we install it kind of deal.
Absolutely. You, from the very beginning of your sales reps or whoever, if you're a one-man operation, how to talk to the customers, how to sell it right, get out of speaking about a red line, get out about just talking about a monthly payment or how much it inflates your home value, how to actually do it right. And then from that point, when you actually get a contract inked, how to install that contract, how to go buy the supplies, just like you do roofing products or windows or whatever company you are, and how you hand that product to your crew and your crew installs that product and then you warranty it. It's all under your contracts. It's all in a box. And then we'll go a step further. If you want us to and you want further support, we'll actually come out to your location. We'll do it live with you. We'll walk you through your first few sales and your first few installs.
I love it, dude. And you got to think, like, how frustrating is it for the company to have no control over the production process of what they just sold? As a contractor, if I'm going to sell something, I better know how to install what I'm selling. If I don't, and I'm trusting this EPC to be able to do this, and they're telling me 4 to 6 weeks, and then it ends up being 14 weeks, that looks bad on me as a contractor, not them. What a great model for them.
Oh my gosh. And it's also, 14 weeks would be great. We probably wouldn't be as mad. It's more like 14 months, but depending who you're working with and what market.
Just out of curiosity, Jay, why do you think that that's the case? Why? And I know you have some insight into this world with some people that you're working with, but why do you think that it takes them so long to be able to build these solar projects?
Well, they're obviously overextended, and that's why you see a lot of shrinkage. Titan sent out a mass announcement this week, actually cutting out like 10 markets. I don't even remember all the markets that it was on this announcement, but it literally came through this week. State markets, not local markets, like literal states. Kansas City, they said they're not doing any more operations. So they obviously overextend themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. I had crews that would show up when I was working with Titan at the very beginning. That's who I started with as my EPC. I had a crew show up one day, literally looked like hell. I'm on the job site when they roll up. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we just drove straight through from Arizona into Missouri. I was like, what? And then they get up there and they start doing the install. Of course it goes terrible. Doesn't pass inspection. And guess what? Now I have to wait on a crew to drive from Arizona all the way to Missouri again to fix this. It's just a nightmare.
No, and that's the thing that people like have experienced. A lot of contractors, I hear the stories over and over and over again. And I'm glad that this solution finally exists, because they've got to have something better than what they've had. And the reality is the best thing to be able to do is to bring it in-house, to own the process, be able to build better processes around it and manage the job the way that you would manage any other job that you do.
Absolutely. And that's what we've done. I mean, you have every course you need as an owner to understand licensing, how to obtain that license, engineering, how to obtain the engineering parts. Probably not a licensed engineer, so you're going to have to subcontract out elements of this, but you're able to sub it out. You're able to have these relational one-on-one conversations with these engineers that you might need to sub, create a per job basis and fee, make sure their timelines, manage their timelines. You're in control. And we wrap it up in a nice little bow for you. It took me over a year to build this. As you know, John, I told you when I started it, you kept asking me, well, when's this ready? I'm like, it's not even close, not even close. And we're still developing and building it. We have a lot of customers that's come in over the last few months. We've gotten a lot of great feedback, and we're like excited to add some more avenues to it. It's a great situation to be able to fully be in control from the very beginning to the very end of the product, and see how many customers are actually amazed and ready to refer you and excited about their new solar systems.
That's what it's all about, is understanding that we can take control, take the keys to solar, bring it in-house, do it ourselves, and build something awesome. Hey, I want to give people an opportunity to sign up for this. I have a link here for their program. It's Selling Solar is what it's called, correct?
That is correct. Trying to keep it.
I'm going to share that link here in the comments. So we'll put it in there, and if we missed we'll drop it in there, but we'll drop it into the comments of this chat here, so you guys can sign up for it and become a part of that. But it's something that you definitely want to have within your company and want to be able to use, and so be able to sign up for it, get some information, meet with your guys. I'm sure that you guys can help them understand what this real system looks like. But at the end of the day, though, this is what you want to have within your organization, is having this, be able to bring this in-house, having this process yourself that you're able to use for your for your own in-house needs.
We're going to also offer a pretty aggressive discount for anybody that uses your link, John. We're going to do that to help support the ship.
Well, thank you. And yeah, so take advantage of that, guys. If you're watching this, click on that link and, go to that website and sign up. And yeah, take advantage of the discount. So thank you, Jay, for allowing that with our listeners. But at the end of the day, though, ultimately, though, our job is to share these cool tools that give you guys access to this kind of stuff, because being able to bring your solar in-house and buy the solar panels, and hire the labor and manage the entire process and oversee it like a real general contractor does is incredible. This has been the most frustrating thing for contractors over the last 5 years, I'd say. I've heard more and more horror stories about solar than I have anything else, because solar has been a nightmare. And so for you guys to be able to take control of it, bring it in-house, this is incredible. Thank you, Jay, for building this.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to share it, and we're excited about it, and we're really confident that if you are wanting to continue to do solar, we need to kill this dealer model. We need to redo the industry, and we're really confident this is a tool that'll put you on the right track.
I love it, dude. The dealer models, it's been terrible, and it's also collapsed. You can tell that it's collapsed on itself over the last few years. So, Jay, thank you so much for putting this together, man, and for being on the show, being our inaugural first guest of the episode.
Thank you. I'm very honored and excited, and I can't wait to tune into these every Tuesday.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon, Jay. I'll eat dinner too, by the way. Just so you know.
Sounds good. I'll always take that.
We'll see you, dude. Guys, that's Jay Haynes, Selling Solar. You want to check it out. The link is in the comments here. Click on that link. Go check it out. Sign up for one. And then get started with Selling Solar. And I'm just saying, like, this is something that is way cool, because this has been one of the most frustrating things as contractors, trying to understand solar and understand how to bring it in-house. Now we have the tools, the capabilities. So jump all over that, hop in there, grab that, and we'll start with that. At least get the education that you need, and then we can actually start to build out those solar processes. So, hey guys, I'm going to take a break, but when I come back, we are going to have one of my good friends, Mike Goldenstein, and we're going to talk about technology in the future of roofing and some really cool stuff. And not just roofing, because this is something that is going to happen for a lot of industries, I heard. And so you guys want to be a part of this. So stay tuned for just a couple minutes as we take a break and bring Mike Goldenstein on. Hey guys, meet Connect Team, my favorite all-in-one app that takes your business to the next level. Connect with your team like never before with seamless communication, track hours with ease, assign tasks on the go, and even provide on-the-spot training. You can schedule shifts effortlessly and ensure safety compliance with a tap. Simplify your business operations today. Try Connect Team and discover a world of efficiency. Visit the link in the show description for a special discount. Guys, thank you, Connect Team, for being a part of this. If you guys don't know about Connect Team, check them out. They're incredible. And make sure to check out Infinity Home Services. I'm just saying, these guys are doing things right. Josh Sparks and his team are killing it. They are one of the best platforms in the industry when it comes to private equity and you potentially selling your business. If you're interested in getting a free evaluation of your business, the link is in the show description. So make sure to hop in there, get a free evaluation. Let us talk to you a little bit about how you could potentially partner with private equity and see what your company's worth. You might be surprised. So awesome. Let's hop right in though. I want to talk to Mike Goldenstein, especially after last week's news and everything that's going on. There's massive shifts in the industry. And the reality is, if you want to stay above water, the best thing you can do is to embrace technology. And I know that sounds really cliche, but at the end of the day, that is the reality though. And understanding that you can now embrace technology in ways that you've never been able to before is hugely, hugely important. So I want to welcome Mike Goldenstein, and we can talk about this. One of the smartest guys in this industry, one of the most amazing minds. Mike, welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here. And I would just say, I mean, just listening to your lead in, I would like to just up it and say, one thing is embracing technology is another one to stay informed, and nobody is better to help contractors stay informed than American Contractor Show. Really appreciate being able to be on here with you today.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Mike, you guys are killing it. I'm always so honored to be in the Uninfluencer presence. And side note, before we get started too much talking about technology, you guys didn't know this. Yesterday, Roofle went through a massive transition. And went from being Roofle as we know it to Roof Mingle.
Yeah, so we see, it's part of our DNA is our value statements, and our we want to always be innovative. We're going to be profoundly simple, and we're going to be committed to quality, and we are absolutely going to bring love to the roofing industry. And the mashup has always been roofing made simple. Now we are roofmingle.com.
Roof-mingle.com. Go click on that. You will love it. It's the best thing that I've seen on the internet in a long time. And bringing love to contractors' lives. A lot of lonely contractors out there that need some loving, and there's some great selections on there.
So I'm going to tell you this really quick story because it's going to date me, and not date me, but date me. Let's tell you how long I've been doing this. So back in the 90s and early 2000s, every box of roof louvers that came from Lemanco, for whatever reason, the side of the cardboard box said, roofers need love too. I don't know why it did that, but for the first 10 years, whenever we got a box of louvers from Lemanco, it always said roofers made love too, or need love too. And so that was kind of the start of this whole thing. We were thinking about it, and we came up with this idea actually last year, but we've been so crazy busy. And so this year I asked our new marketing gal, Jenna, and she absolutely knocked it out of the park. A great April Fool's afternoon. So
that was a good one, man. I enjoyed that. So Mike, you are the king of Photoshop for sure. So I appreciate your contribution.
Jenna did all of the Photoshopping, so you can tell these are really well done. Jenna, hats off to her. She did a fantastic job on that.
Well, it was great marketing and a great April Fool's Day. So thank you for entertaining us yesterday. But dude, let's talk for a little bit because there's a lot of stuff happening, and we keep talking about these dominoes falling, things changing, and these are going to create more situations for contractors to have to step up their game a little bit.
Yeah, step up your game. And I talked to a very long vet of Home Depot that had been there for a long, long time. And I thought he summed it up very well. He said, for the Home Depot group, they had been trying very hard to get into the pro contractor world. Their pro contractor sales just have always been lagging behind. They've been trying in a lot of different ways to increase their visibility and their viability with the contractor. And the reverse was also true, that the the SRS was really trying to get to the consumer, to get to the homeowner. And he said, this is a match made in heaven. They both got kind of what they wanted. SRS is getting closer to the homeowner. Home Depot is getting closer to the contractor. I'm telling you, you're going to see some amazing changes in the landscape of the roofing industry, and particularly with technology.
I hope people just heard what you just said, because that was a very good summation of what the industry's been saying. And you said it. It's been two sides trying to achieve goals here, which Home Depot, you're right. Yeah, they have struggled with that. I've noticed that Lowe's is much better for contractors. They have a much better pro department than Home Depot does. And so for them to be able to now have a sales force of 2,500 people out there selling directly to contractors, that's incredible. And then for SRS, you said something interesting too. They're trying to get to the consumer. Well, no one does consumer better than Home Depot. I mean, every American in the United States knows what, and across, I mean, there's people in other countries, I'm sure. Home Depot is what, $300 some billion market cap. So they're huge. So now every person now knows Home Depot already. And now you connect the power of SRS to that equation.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's a big deal. I don't care. I mean, I'm just saying it's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the blowback was very interesting to watch, where contractors took this in distribution and the contractor and the ability to fill orders. All the guys, this doesn't have it. You're not going to be able to convince me this has anything to do with reach or distribution or, the ability to fill orders. This was about technology and the future of the industry. And I'm, I don't want to get too, tinfoil hat on the whole thing, but, the industry is changing, and private equity is having a huge impact on that. And technology is having a huge impact on that. We can do things today that we couldn't even a year or 2 years ago. So
I think the scale of what just happened is not even fathomable for most people that realize what just happened. People look at private equity and think of IHS, or, IHS is a small part of private equity. There's other ones out there too, but those guys are not Home Depot and BlackRock and Vanguard and SRS now and Berkshire and all the other things. That's a whole different level of it. So I call maturing money. And this changes everything. And I have a friend here in Indy, Chad Peterman. He runs Peterman Brothers. And, when we interviewed Chad about this, and because he chose not to go private equity, and he said the biggest challenge for him has been that what private equity really has done is it's caused him to level up his game. And caused him to have to do things to compete with private equity that he didn't have to do 10 years ago, would have never had to do 10 years ago. And they're in HVAC, which is 10 years ahead of what roofing is. So think about this. Over the next few years, the things that you're going to have to do for your business to stay on top of things is to compete with the likes of, at first it was going to be something like IHS, which is still, you're competing with a company with massive resources. But now you're looking at having to compete with a company like Home Depot that has the reach that none of us could ever even imagine being able to reach. Maybe, there's just not a way that any contractor could potentially possibly get to that level without the help of private equity, or to get to that level.
Yeah, you think about it, even the name of, we call it disruption, and where does disruption come from? We've almost turned it into a cliche, but it truly does happen. And it typically happens from outside of the industry. So when you have something like a private equity, the one side says private equity will never work because they don't know our industry. And there are certain aspects of that is absolutely true. But the opposite is also true. Private equity sees things in our industry that we don't see. And it's that mashup between the two of them that gets really interesting. There's going to be some failures and there's going to be some successes. But the people who figure it out, and I want to take real quick, just to give one aspect of that. We're in the business of having the technology for instant estimating on contractors' websites. And we had a contractor that put it on their website. They were going through this private equity acquisition. They weren't really using it. They weren't paying attention to it. They knew it was kind of the future, so they threw it in there, but it was kind of a throwaway type of an add-on. When the private equity company brought in their chief marketing officer and looked at what they were getting from an instant estimator on their website without even trying, and they're like, holy crap, and again, the contractor was looking at it and was like, it was 5 leads. He says, you don't understand. That was 5 leads without trying. And so then they just changed their entire market because, again, when people who know business very differently than roofers know roofing, you suddenly are like, these eyes are popping out and going, this is how this is supposed to work. And it actually works. And so suddenly the entire chain, that's where I say these mashups in this disruption is coming from, and in this case, we're talking about private equity, but there's a lot of eyes that are on the roofing industry and saying, man, if I just plug in these simple marketing strategies or these technology strategies, this is going to take us into an entirely different stratosphere. And meanwhile, the roofers are talking about roofing stuff. So,
well, and that's the beauty of it. And I love how you said it, the marriage. It's really a marriage between two different ideologies, and understanding that that's the important part. If you want to have a successful one, you're going to have mutual respect and a lot of mutual, not just respect, but mutual admiration, and understanding that with you guys being able to work together and be able to connect in that level, like that's what's going to create successful private equity groups. And I've seen it from both sides. I mean, I was part of one that recently, when it started, it looked like it was promising, and then it turned into something that wasn't so promising. And then there's some that are now coming up that are much more promising. So it's incredible. But let's talk about this though from a different perspective. If you're a contractor and you're like, okay, so granted, we know that this is happening. How do I get myself to the next level? How do I set myself apart? How do I become a better contractor? We talked about solar a little bit with Jay. That's a great opportunity right there. Bring your solar in-house, create your own solar stuff. Now you create a whole nother revenue stream for your business that you control and you can actually scale and sell. And then besides that, though, now we're talking about what you guys offer, which is a new marketing opportunity that will set your company apart.
Yeah, one of the hardest things for a company to do is take themselves out of their consumer seat and into the buyer's seat and going, how does my customer want to do business with me? And then making that adjustment to sell the way that they want to be sold rather than how they want to sell.
Yep.
And so and again, this is a lot of the stuff with identity, and how you've been trained for decades. We've been telling people how to sell in the home, how to sell for value, how to sell for a higher price, that kind of stuff. And it's always revolved around the demands of the consumer that says, I want to get to know you. I want to get this from a referral, from a friend, from a relative that has a business. I don't want to get outside of my comfort zone. But that's my generation and up. I'm 50 and older. That's how we did business. This new generation, they are completely different. They look for different things, and they don't go straight to price. I would almost say that my generation and older look at price even harder than the younger generations. The younger generation says, how easy can you make it for me?
Right.
But keep me in control and allow me to do it on my terms, which is I am going to research the heck out of you. I'm going to look at your About Us page. I'm going to look at your reviews. I'm going to look at I want to see who you are. I want to see the size of your teams. I want to look at the trucks. They are impressed by your web presence. The hardest thing, and I heard it from my own, my daughter is 20. She's 20. She'll be 22 here shortly. Graduated from college. And she said, I believe the computer more than a person. She's been sold too many times by a person who, again, either is jaded or lies. And that's her perspective of, if you try to sell me, I don't believe you. If I can research it myself, I do believe me.
They trust a computer more than a person. That's the reality, though, of the next generation. And honestly, it's probably the reality of many Americans today. It's just the reality of where the mindset is like, hey, I want it. And a lot of times it's not that they don't necessarily trust the person. It's just they don't want to necessarily go through the hassle of working with somebody.
Yep. And you think about it, like how much time and what does it take? I've got a 7-year-old too. So I've got 23, 22-year-old, 23-year-olds. And then I've got a 7-year-old, and just trying to set up daycare, somebody to watch him, somebody to be like, it's hard to delegate an hour or 2 hours to a sales pitch. It's hard to do. And what time do you want? I mean, you want to come over at 9, 10 o'clock at night? Because sometimes that's how long it takes before we have time to do that. So our lives have gotten so busy, and we have to accommodate, the the purchase of a roof around our schedules, good luck with that. I'm going to go with the companies that give it to me when I need it, when I have access to it, when I can slip it into my schedule, rather than having to move my schedule around for that. And it's a different way to do business and a different way to look at doing business.
I love it. And it's such an easy tool. And I told contractors this earlier this year, but my favorite tool for 2023 out of all the technologies that came out last year, or over the last few years, the one that I chose, the most disruptive technology for our space last year was Roofle. And I know you're going to other industries. This is not just for roofing, hopefully soon, right? Maybe I'm saying things I shouldn't say. But at the end of the day, though, this is right now the best tool for a roofing contractor to have on their website. And my favorite part about it, it's so easy to install. It's something that literally is just a little piece of code that goes on your website, and then boom, you've got this like massively like huge, valuable tool on your website that offers homeowners instant quotes whenever they want them.
Yeah, and we do have an onboarding process, and we do charge for our onboarding process. It's not a lot, but it's enough for us to walk you through that process to make it
There's still
easy.
setup that has to be
Yeah,
done.
there is setup to do, but we don't want you to have to feel like you have to do your setup. And then we even have a team that is dedicated to you through the life of your experience as well. We want you to be successful at using it because, again, this is disruptive tech that we are not used to. There's not a lot of people that were talking about this a year or 2 years ago. Now that they are, there is a learning curve to this process, and we want to make sure that you're successful at it. So yes, we make it as easy as possible. That is one of our core values, is profoundly simple. We want it to be simple. We want it to fit into your schedules, and we want it to be very, very effective for you. So we'll help you all along the way.
And I love that. And I'm telling you guys, like, this tool is a game changer. And if you want to compete with the big boys, which you're going to have to do here soon, you've got to stay ahead. And this is a tool that most people don't have. It's accurate. It's pretty accurate. I would say and I love the way that it's set up now with the ranges of pricing. So it kind of gives you a little bit of room to move around, but at least it gives your homeowners an opportunity to say, okay, here's my roof. Here's what the price should be. I'm setting the price now. It is what it is. And some people are scared to do that. Why do you think contractors are so scared to set their pricing out?
Yeah, it's great, but I mean, it's not just roofers. And so this is where I kind of default to Marcus Sheridan. He writes a lot about this, and he's not a roofer. He's not from the roofing industry, but he talks about, what are the challenges to becoming price transparent on a website. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You're going to have to figure out, do I really want my price available to my competitor? Like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're Mac computers, you're going to be scared to put that price on the website so that your competitor can see that price.
There.
Roofing's a little bit different because I think we should all know each other's price. And I think most industries end up to the place where, we already know where everybody's price is anyway, especially if you're on Xactimate. Y'all know what price is.
And I've always said roofing's kind of a commodity anyways, to an extent. Some of it, like if you can vary it by different things, but if you're an asphalt shingle roofer, it's kind of like, hey, the price of the roof is the price of the roof. There's going to be variations based on the grade of material you use, but most of the time there's a best, better, good system that works along most lines of contractors, and they're all going to have a pretty straightforward idea of where that pricing should land.
There is, but the only thing I would say to that though is there is risk to it. Because if you do it wrong, if you make a bad decision or you go with the wrong contractor, the
100%. 100%.
And there's a lot at stake because
by all means,
the rest of your home is now exposed. So
by all means, there's a lot of risk there, and obviously homeowners have to understand that. But at the end of the day, though, it is what it is. So
yeah. Now, so let's go through
Sorry, hold on. I have to address this. Jonathan Bros, post that up real quick. Jonathan Bros is a good friend of ours, right?
When does he can't do it? But that's a great question. Okay, so let's say it this way because it's not going to happen.
Some people going to purchase Roofle. Tell us why this isn't going to happen.
So here, what you're questioning, I'm going to question behind the question is, when do we start seeing marketplaces show up in the roofing industry? And when I talk about the marketplaces, if you're looking for a used vehicle right now, you do a Google search for it, you're going to see a dozen different marketplaces where you see every different dealership with all their different inventories are all there. So the question is, the trick of this is, when are you going to, what he's saying is, when are you going to see an instant estimator on homedepot.com? Again, that's what the fear is, right? Because as soon as that shows up, now we are all having, as contractors, we are all now competing against that very familiar bright orange. That everybody knows, trusts, loves, whatever, at least they know it. So that's been the passion for our company from the very inception of Roofle as a SaaS product. We want to empower the local contractor to have the ability to have the top tech in the industry on your website, not on anybody else's, on your website. So it becomes your lead. It's exclusive to you. It's highly qualified, but it's all done by you. You own your virtual space before it gets taken from you. I think that's what John is saying, is because, again, as soon as that instant estimator shows up on homedepot.com, where are people going to go to get a price on their roof, and who's going to come out and do that roof? And now we can really get out of control and start talking about and how long then does it take carriers to have that access as well?
Well, that's a whole other conversation. I don't want to get into that because we'll be here all day talking about
But
at the end of the day, the reality is this is the tool that you got to have for your contractor. If you're a contractor, you got to have this on your website. You should have it yesterday. You should be able to, homeowners should be able to start doing the e-commerce process with your business right now. It needs to happen. It needs to become a thing that you've got on your website. If you don't have it yet, I mean, it's not because the tool doesn't exist. Okay. You don't have it because you're choosing not to have it. That's the bottom line. You're choosing to not have that product on your website when it's available to you. And there's a service like Roofle that exists. There's no excuse to not have it. So your competitors have it. There's people within your marketplace, I'm sure, that have it. How many roofers use Roofle now? I'm curious.
We are pushing. Yeah, we're over 1,000 over 50 states. I mean, we're growing so fast.
I shouldn't have asked that question probably, but at the same time, that's good information. Like if there's thousands of contractors using it, now you've got, across all 50 states, there's probably more than likely one of your competitors has it on their website now.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're seeing competitors show up all the time too, which again, when I first started at Roofle, that was my first question that I wanted. This was
or a version of it.
Yeah. 18 months ago.
Yeah.
That was my first question was, so who's our competitor? And we're like, well, there's kind of one. Now I think there's 6 or 7. So again, I think in the next couple of years, pretty much every roofing company in America will have us or one of our competitors on their website. It's just, people are not going to buy a vehicle online if you have to go into the dealership to get a price on that vehicle. They're going to just skip over it, and they're going to go to someplace else that does have that transparency. Again, putting them back into the driver's seat or in somewhat of control of the process themselves. So
I love it. So I'm going to put a link on the in the comments here. This link will get you into the Roofle world. I think it's got some fun parts to it. I think it's that one. I don't know if you may want to copy and paste that and put it into a web browser real quick, Abdel, before you throw that up there. Make sure that link's correct, because it feels like it's wrong.
There is let me say it. It's offers.roofle.com /ACS.
There you go. Offers.roofle.com /ACS. That's the right link. I had the wrong link on there, so I apologize. Offers.roofle.com /ACS. So he's getting that up for you guys, and then you guys will be able to click on that, get signed up for it. And then the real cool thing is you guys need to talk to Jay and connect with him and figure out how to make this for solar. So offers.roofle.
And we do have a promo code. So if you do click through, we want to give you a demo. We want to show you around it a little bit. And if you come through that direction, we do have a $500 off of your onboarding charge. So nice. $500, save $500 using the promo code ACS500.
ACS500. Let's go. That's a good promo code.
We are going to be at SolarCon, and the reason why is because, again, just like your previous guest, like the solar industry is evolving quickly as well. But one of the things that's hard for solar companies to do is they don't train their guys on how to accurately bid a roof or give an estimate for the roof. And so we have a lot of contractors that are partnering up with being able to help solar guys to be able to do those estimates as well. So
get to know Jay, get to know you guys, connect, do whatever you guys got to do. But I think there's some opportunity here for you guys to potentially bring something really great to the marketplace. So cool, man. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being a part of our inaugural first weekly American Contractor Show live. This is awesome. For those of you guys watching this will be live on all of our platforms every week, as well as you can replay it. And we will also have the replays in podcast format on our podcast channels as well. So make sure to check those out. But Mike, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And always an honor and a pleasure to be with the uninfluencer of the industry.
Well, I do appreciate it. And it's great. So congratulations on this. And we're looking forward to watching the future versions of
Awesome.
ACS. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. And thanks for all your support of ACS over at Roofle, and you guys check them out. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. This has been our first episode of the American Contractor Show live. And yeah, we'll have this every week. This will be streaming every single week, just like the old days. This is how actually we launched ACS. If you actually knew the history of our show, this was launched as a daily roofing report for contractors during COVID. And now we're kind of going full circle and starting it over again as a weekly show to bring you guys information, technology, connect you to cool people like Jay and Mike and other cool people in the future that can give you cool options to make your business awesome. I said cool like way too many times, but that's all right. This is what the show is. It's pretty laid back. We're chill. We're not trying to overly make this thing super complicated. It's all about you guys bringing you value, entertainment, and helping you guys equip you for a better future and to make this industry even better than it is today. So thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next week here at American Contractor Show. Have a great week, guys. Thanks for joining us today on the American Contractor Show. Be sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and leave your comments below. We'll see you guys in the next one.